Before we jump in, I want to say that this video took a lot more time than I thought it would. It's the reason I didn't upload yesterday. It's because I thought I was going to be able to have this video done in time, and I just didn't. So if you wouldn't mind taking the time just to drop a quick like, it helps a lot. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. That helps out videos so much. You have no idea. If you're just watching a video and you're not currently subscribed, and then you do subscribe, the metrics on that video go crazy. But if you are already subscribed, a like will do just fine. I hope you enjoy. I've been wanting to do a series for a while where I get to talk about a character who will be in an upcoming fighting game or arena fighter. I even want to talk about specific special moves they're going to have, references from the animated series or the comics if we're talking about DC, or any other type of thing I might cover in the future, the source material. I would basically be theory crafting the character's moveset. This process is what a lot of developers do when they first start looking at a character before they design it. They talk about these concepts before they get into it. And while I am obviously no game developer, I thought I'd give my own crack at theory crafting certain movesets that haven't been revealed yet. And right now, the arena fighter I'm looking forward to most is the Demon Slayer PS4 title. So I thought I'd try out this format, see what you guys think of it, and if you guys enjoy it, I'll continue to do it. So when I initially decided to do this video, I initially started with the idea of Tanjiro in mind, because of course he is our main character, and he at the very least should be playable, regardless of whoever else is playable in the game. But honestly, Tanjiro is really complicated because Tanjiro has so much potential in his moveset. It's hard to say how Tanjiro's moveset will be split up. Even if we just use season 1 as our source material, you could make up to 4 different playable versions of Tanjiro if you really wanted to. You have Tanjiro Farm Boy with an axe, you have Tanjiro from the final selection arc once he's gotten some training in him, you have Tanjiro plus Nezuko as a single character, and then of course you have Tanjiro with Hinokami. So instead of trying to conceptualize that nightmare of a character, because we have no idea how they're going to split up those 4 different versions of Tanjiro, is it going to be 2 versions, is it just going to be the 1 version, it's impossible to say, and that's the reason we won't be covering Tanjiro. So if I'm not going to do Tanjiro, who better than Tanjiro? Well, I decided to go with the true main character, Nezuko Kamado. Let's start off with the base concept. First of all, we should establish that we're not going to be looking past season 1 Nezuko. Even if we did assume that the game would be going past the events of the upcoming movie and season 1, Nezuko and the other main characters would probably end up getting multiple versions of playable characters anyway. So again, we'll just be focusing on season 1, and then if the game does go past season 1 and the upcoming movie, Nezuko and some other characters would probably have a different version of that character playable anyway. So if that ends up happening, just consider this our theory crafting of the first version of Nezuko. So let's theory craft. Nezuko isn't exactly fast. When you think of Nezuko, you might consider her fast, but she's not really. She's certainly agile, but I wouldn't describe her as a fast character. She hits really hard, according to everyone who's been hit by her. So with that information, I would say that Nezuko will probably be a fairly basic boxer character. When I say boxer, I mean that in a very fighting gamey way. I don't really mean it in the sense that she'll be punching. What I'm getting at is that Nezuko doesn't do a lot of punching. There's a couple exceptions, but for the most part, Nezuko's punching isn't her main attack. Her most powerful attacks come from kicks. Again, she does do some jabs here and there, most of which miss her target completely, and even when they do hit, they don't often have a lot of power behind them. There is a couple exceptions to that, which we'll talk about in just a moment. There is about 10 minutes of Nezuko fighting footage from season 1, and I've managed to compile it all for the use of this video. I wanted to pick out each and every single reference that I could find inside of Nezuko's moveset that would work perfectly for a fighting game. Again, I would imagine that this is probably something that CyberConnect 2 does, or any developer does, when they're designing a character's moveset from an existing source material. So here are some animations or moments from the series that I think would be very easy for CyberConnect 2 to replicate in fighting game form, or arena fighter form. Now, there's one thing to keep in mind. We don't know the actual mechanics of this game yet. So when I say certain things like special attack, I don't necessarily mean like a special move. I just mean something that would be like a tilt attack or a special move or something like that. Like something that's extra, something that's not a part of a normal punch. When I say dash attack, there might not be a dash attack, but there might be some type of forward advancing move, and then that would be what I mean when I say dash attack in this video. And when I say heavy string and light string, there might not be heavies and lights, but there will be moves that are stronger than others. I'm sure we all understand what I mean when I say these things. Obviously, again, there are no confirmed mechanics for this game right now. They haven't shown us any gameplay. I have to make a lot of assumptions to be able to make this video. Again, I don't think it's particularly important. Let's start off with a light string. She uses this against the swamp demon when she's fighting with Tanjiro by her side, and when you watch it, you don't think anything of it, but that's why it works perfectly for a light string. She starts with 2 different jabs, and then she tilts her body to the right as she tries to sweep at the opponent's head, only to do a full 360-degree spin into a back heel kick. For our heavy string, we have one of the only examples of Nezuko actually using her fist as a powerful strike, so I think it works good. She punches the swamp demon directly in the stomach. She tries for a kick to the upper body, but it gets blocked by the swamp demon. Of course, it wouldn't actually get blocked in a combo string. She goes for a right-handed jab, and then another one of her classic spinning back heel kicks. Now, in arena fighters, we don't really have low attacks because we don't have low, medium highs, or I should say low, medium overheads. There are some exceptions, like I believe One Punch Man and Hero Nobody Knows does have low attacks. They don't work like low attacks, but it's not particularly important for this video. Regardless, in arena fighters, we do have animations that attack low, and we have a perfect example of that in one of Nezuko's fights. Again, the same fight against the swamp demon. She runs at the swamp demon as he tries to enter his swamp, and she does this really low sweeping kick, which would work perfectly as a starting string for a low combo. I just love this animation and the way that Ufotable does it. She threw out that low sweep just to stop him from going into the swamp. She knew it wasn't going to hit, so she immediately jumps off the ground and goes for another one of her spinning kicks. Super, super cool string, and I hope to see that make it into the game because I think it looks awesome. For a dash attack, we actually have a perfect example of this. It's just a running punt kick, just a really basic run up and kick them. No technique behind this, but that's a part of the charm of it, right? This isn't exactly an attack, but I still want to cover small stuff like this when we do these types of theory crafting videos. For running animations, Nezuko actually does the same run every time she runs into combat. It's like this Naruto style run, but it's a little more ditzy than that. There's not like a technique behind it. She just happens to have her arms behind her back as she runs. It's a part of the charm of the character, and I think it will certainly be in any type of running animation that's in the game because, again, it's present throughout all of her running throughout the entire series. Now, like I said before, when I say special attack, I don't exactly mean special attack. This doesn't have to be like a move that uses up any type of meter or resource or anything like that, although it could be. It's just something special that would have to be not a regular punch or not a part of a regular string. And that's this jumping heel kick she does against the swamp demon. It's kind of like a Manchester smash. She jumps up, she doesn't do a spin or anything like that. And most of you won't care about this, but I think it's really cool. She actually picked this technique up from the first demon she fought all the way back at the temple. That demon did like this front flip kick thing, and she picks up that exact same technique just from that one small fight that she had with him, but obviously she doesn't add the flip. And I just think that's a really nice touch from, I don't know who started that. I don't know if that originated in the anime or whether they did that in the manga because I didn't read the early parts of Demon Slayer. But regardless, it's a really nice touch, and I hope she has that in the game. Now, again, we don't have gameplay of this game. We don't know if sidestepping or dodging or anything like that will be in the game, but if sidestepping is in the game, there's this amazing moment in the Tamari demon fight where Nezuko is dashing around trying to avoid these Tamaris that are flying at her. And there's a lot of cool dodging animations in there that could easily be repurposed into a CC2 fighting game animation. Obviously, they would need to make it from scratch, but taking that concept and throwing it into a video game would work perfectly. And it's, of course, a really easy way to reference the source material. For the grab animation, I would like to see them reference the fight with Giyu. It's not exactly a grab. In fact, it's kind of a counter to a grab. Giyu has her arms tied around her back, and then, of course, eventually she does manage to break free, and she kicks Giyu in the gut. You could repurpose this so that she starts off the grab animation, holds the enemy in place for a second, and then jumps around, does a spinning kick, and kicks them away from her. It's a little bit of a modification, but it's still a reference to the Giyu fight, and I think it would be a nice touch. And for the last thing before I move on to the ultimate ability, which I think we all know what that's going to be, I want to mention this stance that Nezuko does. Again, it's such a small thing, and I don't think most people will care, but I will. Every time Nezuko does a really powerful kick and then she ends up back on the ground, she arches up her right leg, and she doesn't really do anything with it. She just stands there and looks cool. And I would like to see that idle animation somehow used in her moveset. It can either just be a stance that she goes into after she does a powerful kick, and it doesn't really do much. It's just a part of the animation, and then as soon as you start running, it would go away and you would go to the running animation. I just think it would be a really nice touch. Aesthetically, the way they use it in the show is whenever she's kind of revealed the fact that she's powerful, she does that. So for example, in the swamp demon fight, when she first gets a big hit on the swamp demon and protects the humans from the swamp demon, she goes into that stance kind of as to say, all right, now you know the challenge that's in front of you. I'm not just some pushover. And she does the same thing against the Tamari demon when she successfully blocks one of the Tamaris that was heading towards her allies. She jumps into that stance and she's basically saying, all right, let's do this thing. I'm on your level. Let's go. I know it's such a small thing, but I think it's such a key aspect of the character that I'll be a little bit disappointed if it's not in some part of her moveset. Just some animation somewhere it needs to be. Even if it's just a victory pose, I'll take it. And of course, lastly, her ultimate attack. No official gameplay mechanics have been announced for this game yet, but of course, there will be something like an ultimate jutsu, a super, an ultimate technique, a plus ultra, whatever you want to call it, there will be some type of finishing move in this game. And of course, Nezuko Kamado's ultimate technique needs to be her blood demon art from the end of season 1. Well, not the end of season 1, episode 19, whatever. Man, this moment is the moment, right? A lot of people became Demon Slayer fans because of this episode. Now, I was on board since episode 1, but this is the episode that blew up, right? This is the episode where Ninja started tweeting. This is the episode where the series started blowing up on Twitter. I believe it was trending #1 worldwide on Twitter. This is the episode where a lot of people found out about Demon Slayer. It's not my favorite episode from season 1, but that moment is so awesome. And of course, it will be in the game. And of course, it will be a part of her ultimate technique. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I think if you use that technique outside of her ultimate technique, it makes her ultimate technique for the base version of Nezuko feel a little less important. So I don't think you would use any more of her blood demon art throughout her moveset. I think you should just save it for the ultimate technique, because again, I think it kind of devalues the ultimate technique if you incorporate it elsewhere in her moveset. So I think the vast majority of her moveset should just be her using her powerful kicks, using her powerful strikes, although less powerful strikes, and using that kind of boxer moveset that we're expecting to see from Nezuko. Now, of course, if we get a Demon Slayer PS4 game 2 sometime in the future, I would very much like to see another version of Nezuko playable where she uses her blood demon technique to full advantage. But for right now, this base version of season 1 Nezuko, I think you should just keep it exclusive to her ultimate technique. Now, before I wrap up this video, I do want to say you might notice that I didn't talk about the Tamari demon fight very much. I kind of focused on the Swamp demon fight, and I picked up a little bit of stuff here and there from other fights. The reason for that is because the Tamari demon fight, while there is a lot there, the vast majority of that fight is choreographed around the Tamari itself, so it's not exactly easy to translate a lot of the stuff that happens in that fight into a moveset. Though I will say that sequence where the Tamari demon and Nezuko are kicking the Tamari back and forth, that screams classic CC2 QuickTime event, so I'm not going to be surprised at all if that makes it into the game. Right now, I am holding out hope for more and more Demon Slayer news, man. There is so much going on in the manga right now. Please, if you don't interact with anime communities, if your only source of talking to other anime people, if your only source of hearing about anime information is from me, then you're probably safe. I would say ignore the manga and just avoid spoilers at all costs, because the animation from Ufotable is just so damn beautiful. But if you're in these communities and you watch a lot of people's videos and you don't think you can reasonably avoid spoilers, man, I would read ahead pretty soon, because you're going to start hearing about a lot of spoilers. People are going to want to talk about some stuff that's happening in the manga right now, and it's going to be impossible to avoid. Again, you won't hear any of it from me because I am anti-spoiler, but if you're involved in these communities, I'd be very careful about what Discords you're opening up right now, what Twitter pages you're going to right now. I would be muting words on Twitter. I would be very, very, very careful unless you're okay with getting spoiled on what's happening in the Demon Slayer manga right now. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I loved doing this video, so I hope you like it, because I would like to do more of it in the future. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. I want to conduct a poll on there sometime in the future about what character you want me to cover next for this series. So if you want to contribute to that poll, be sure to follow me on Twitter. I also want to remind you that if you like my brand new channel art, which features a bunch of awesome Demon Slayer characters and some other characters from my favorite franchise, you can use my link in the description to go to Displate's website, and you can find that exact artwork that was made for my channel by searching for the word Bilbzy. My name has been Bilbzy, and I'll be sure to catch you in the next video.